Hello and welcome to Midnight Scribe's Creative Vibes, where we speak to the best of the bronies and discover what makes them tick. Now, as we all know, I am of course Midnight Scribe, the high and mighty interviewer who intends to take over the internet with my delicious radio voice, Donny Osmond teeth and 1970s afro. But there's a problem, something that stops me from achieving worldwide domination. You see, I'm just a radio guy, I speak into a microphone and that's it. I don't actually have a body, I'm literally just a pair of lips bouncing around my laptop microphone for your enjoyment. But what did we expect? We know how that song goes. Video killed the radio star. And the gentleman I'm interviewing today is that video star. He's a reviewer of both the TV show and especially the comic series, having done collaborations with Dr. Wolf and Toon Critic on various comic subjects. He does artwork, fan fiction, but most importantly of all, the fact he does videos is stopping me from achieving worldwide domination. So let me introduce you to the video star that's going to be the end of me. Sketchy the Changeling. Sketchy, how are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty good, apart from the fact that you're stopping me achieving worldwide domination. I mean, how am I actually meant to get anywhere in life with you blocking up the internet airwaves with your videos while I'm just stuck here as a pair of lips inside the microphone?
Yeah, well, just let me take over for a couple of centuries and then I'll let you have it.
Oh, well, I'm happy to. I can stew away in a jar somewhere. It could be like Futurama. I can be like a pair of lips in one of those little jars with my name on it, Midnight Scribe, and you could just fall me out in 1,000 years. Oh,
Eh.
that would be a good idea. I would love that. I wonder what the year 3000 would be like. I don't know. But, well, firstly, we just need to chat a bit about yourself, Sketchy, because, of course, this show is all about yourself. I mean, this is what we do in Creative Vibes. You know, we talk to creators, we talk about what they do and celebrate the community itself. So, obviously, what you do on your YouTube channel is review comics and the show. And, you know, and I've mentioned briefly about how you've done collaborations with Dr. Wolf and Toon Critic. I know Dr. Wolf's video was about why more fans don't happen to read the comics, but they watch the show. I mean, could you go a little bit more into that? Because I mean, speaking as a fan of the show, I haven't had a chance to read the comics, and I'm interested to hear what your take on it is.
Well, looking back on it now, I can definitely see why there are some fans that don't read the comics because it's more of a monetary investment because see with the show, I mean, you're already paying your cable bill, so you just either watch the show on TV or on Netflix, binge watch. With the comics, you have to like pay for each issue as they come out every month, and they release like 2 issues a month. And with the comics, you don't know what you're going to get in a given story because, like the show, they constantly rotate not just writers but artists. So one story arc can have an entirely different feel from the other. So I think that's one of the reasons why people are kind of turned off by the comics. But personally, I kind of find them to be interesting because a lot of the stories not only explore some characters that don't really get much screen time, like Sakura, Princess Luna, and other characters. A lot of the multi-part story arcs tend to explore parts of the MLP world that the show doesn't really go into. Like there's a certain story arc that takes place in Manhattan, and it kind of explores what Trixie's been doing since the end of Magic Duel. Like she's been doing gigs in Manhattan. So there are just different little stories that kind of expand on what we already know, and that gives us like a clearer picture of the world and makes it more interesting.
So it's good to read the comics then to get more backstory into the characters.
Definitely. There was actually a mini series, like a 5 issue mini series that came out in April. They released like 1 issue every Wednesday. It was called Fiendship is Magic. And basically what those comics did was they went into the backstories of each of the villains. Like there was 1 issue for Sombra, then one for T-Rex, then the Sirens, then Nightmare Moon, and then Chrysalis.
And I remember you brought that up when you did your collaboration with Toon Critic. I mean, how do you find the collaboration process in general? Because I mean, working with Dr. Wolf and Toon Critic, they're two big names in the community.
Yeah, someone just when it came to Dr. Wolf, someone said, "Hey, you should do a collaboration with Dr. Wolf." And I was like, yeah, he seems like a busy guy. I'm not really sure how he takes appointments. So this person actually went ahead and told Dr. Wolf about me, and he came back to me and said that if I'm willing to do it, then he's game. So I was like, okay, well, I contacted him, and then we worked together on the script. I did the artwork for the video, and then we just did our respective lines, and then we put it together. So then with Toon Critic, he actually we were on contacts on Skype for about a month, and then around towards the end of the Fiendship is Magic series, I think about a week before the end of April, he said, "Hey, do you want to once May comes around, do you want to do a video talking about this series in its entirety?" So I was like, okay, yeah, we could do that. So once all the issues came out and I did my reviews for all the individual issues, we got together and we went on the Google Documents and we worked together on the script. Again, we each recorded our respective lines, and then he sent me all of his OC vectors so I could just edit the video together.
Yeah, no, it's great to see how the collaboration process is going there. I mean, obviously a lot of the work you do, and I mean, I know you reviewed the show as well, and you've done bits about the show and the series in general, but you do tend to mainly sort of focus around about the comics in particular. I mean, is there a particular reason why you've gravitated towards them?
Is there a particular reason why I gravitated toward the comics? To be honest, it's like I've always been into comics. Like even prior to MLP, like I've been drawing comics since I was like, let's see, maybe 9 years old. Yeah, 9 years old. I've been drawing comics since I was nine. And at first I started drawing comics about my 14 going on 15 years old. I started my own original stories, and I just been in love with comics like for the longest time. So when the MLP comics came around, I was lucky enough to find out about them when they were only like 4 issues in. So I didn't have to like binge read a bunch of issues. So I just read the comics and I thought they were really cool because by then I had caught up with season two, because the comics came out like late 2012, and that was around the time where I finally caught up to the rest of the series, and I was still recently new to the show. So once I found the comics, I was like, wow, there's even more stuff for me to consume. So when I had decided to go into the whole YouTube thing, um, it was in between seasons 4 and 5. So I didn't really feel like individually reviewing like 91 episodes, but there were new comics that were coming out every month. So I figured that, okay, until season 5 comes out, this will be my thing, because very few, if any, reviewers uh, review individual issues of the comics or individual story arcs if it's more than one part. So that was going to be my thing that I would be known for. And then when the show came out, I review episodes of the show.
And you mentioned there about when you were finding comics, you'd already watched part of the show. Did you? How did you come to be a fan of the show itself?
Um, let's see. There was a friend of mine that I went to school with when I was in like 10, 11 years old. And we were really good friends, and we kept in touch with each other even after we went to different schools. And he called me up one time, and we were just talking about what shows we've been getting into lately. And he was like, "Hey, have you heard of that new My Little Pony show on the Hub?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of it. I'm surprised that you have." "Oh yeah, I watch it. I'm a big fan." I'm like, I was surprised because he was the last person I thought would get into MLP, because he was into a lot of action and a lot of boyish stuff, not to perpetuate stereotypes, but that was the kind of stuff that he was into. And he recommended the show to me. So I was like, "Hey man, this sounds like a show that you would really like." And I was like, I'm not too sure about that. So I didn't watch the show, but a couple months later, around summer of 2012, I had gotten Netflix, And after watching a couple of shows on Netflix, MLP popped up in my recommendations. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this 5 episodes to impress me and see how this goes. And I ended up being hooked on episode 1. And when I found out when season 3 was supposed to come out, I tried to finish the 2 seasons before season 3 came out.
I know that feeling. I mean, it's like because I came in, I think it was just before the beginning of season 3 myself, and I had the similar thing that I watched the first episode and then immediately it's kind of I needed more, 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 and just proceeded to smash through seasons 1 and 2 before I even knew what was happening to me. I mean, it's quite an addictive show. I mean, it's very well written. It's very enjoyable. I mean, like what is it about it that attracts you to it?
What is it about it that attracts me to it? Okay, for me, when it comes to watching a show, one of the things that I really gravitate towards is the characters and their relationships with each other, like how they interact with each other, because um, character interactions kind of help move the story along, and it makes you care about the story because you can have a really good story, but like if the characters aren't interesting to watch, then it's not going to be worth it because you don't want to just care about the story. You want to care about the people going through that story. And a lot of the episodes, and because it's a show about friendship, a lot of the episodes have to do with how these characters relate to one another. Like a lot of my favorite episodes have to do with character relations. Like Look Before You Sleep is one of my favorites. Sweet and Elite. Uh, just too many to count, honestly. So yeah, that's the main thing that drives me towards the show.
And is there a particular character on the show that you happen to gravitate towards as well?
Uh, my top two favorite characters are Applejack and Rarity. Applejack because, like me, I am bluntly honest. Like not to a fault, like Applejack is, but still, like sometimes I find it kind of uncomfortable to lie to people. And also with Applejack, I care a lot about my family. I have a really close relationship with my family, even though sometimes we get on each other's nerves. And I kind of related to her in that respect. And then with Rarity, I relate to her because she's a creator like myself. And sometimes she can get really caught up in the whole creative process and sometimes will obsess over small things, even though like some people may not see it as a big deal. We do because we're the ones working on whatever we're working on. So from that perspective, I could really get her, you know?
Well, it's certainly great to meet someone else who's a fan of Applejack. I've been trying to count them out. I'm trying to get more and more people to gravitate towards Applejack because, she needs a little bit more love, in my opinion. But one thing that I've
She
noticed
does.
is, like, obviously we just talked there about your favorites, but perhaps one of your more popular videos and perhaps maybe quote unquote controversial. I mean, maybe in the eyes of our producer's husband, maybe is that you're not a particularly a big fan of Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, Pinkie Pie. Yeah, it is relatively infamous compared to my other videos because currently it's my most disliked video. Like I think the last time I checked it was like 67 likes to 30 dislikes, I think. It definitely is my most disliked video, but I mean, I walked into that video knowing what I was getting into because not just in this fandom, but in a lot of big fandoms, when you don't agree with a popular opinion, um it kind of you're kind of putting yourself on the spot, even if you present your opinions rationally, because there's always those that small section of people, that small vocal section of people who kind of like lash out whenever they see a dissenting opinion. But I had something to say, and I just put my argument and presented it the best way I could. I didn't bash anybody. I didn't I made it clear that hey, this is just my opinion, and like just because I don't like her doesn't mean she's a bad character. She just doesn't appeal to me. So that was pretty much my thought process when making the video, was to just put my points out there, and just so people can see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting video, and I felt there were interesting points that came up about. I mean, the general gist I got of it was that, even like you said, you weren't bashing the character as such. It was more to do with the implementation of her character into the show. In terms of the writing, wasn't always the best, and she kind of came across as more obnoxious as opposed to being, you know, the friend as such. I mean, but I mean, we just talked there about the idea that there was a bit of a backlash from some people in terms of the dislikes and so on. I mean, how do you think the
Right.
fandom reacts to people who don't like? Because I'm always curious to see how people what their views are of the fandom. I mean, what do you think about in general the fandom, and how do you think? Like, do you reckon the passions in this particular fandom can be inflared a lot easier than others, or do you reckon it's more just just because we happen to be in this fandom, we happen to notice it a bit more?
Yeah, I think we just happen to notice it a bit more because we're in the fandom. Because like this is the first fandom where I've gotten like really, really into it. So when I talk about fandom behavior, I can only speak from the perspective of being in one fandom. I'm not really heavily involved in other fandoms, so I don't really have a well-rounded view. When it comes to this fandom and reacting to different things, I do believe that there are times where we do blow things out of proportion. Like for example, the whole Princess Twilight thing. When it was first revealed that she was going to be ascending into an alicorn, my I don't really remember my reaction was just indifference. Like, oh, she's gonna be an alicorn. Cool. I like to see how they do this. I tend to be more of the optimistic type, where like even with like going back to Pinkie Pie, even when like an episode is announced that like, oh, this next episode is going to be about Pinkie Pie, like I do a little inward groan a little bit, but I'm like, this might be the Pinkie Pie episode that makes me like her. I mean, if I can come to like the CMC in season 4, maybe season 5 will make me like Pinkie. And then with fandom reactions to changes in the show or stuff like that, like it kind of one thing that does rub me the wrong way is when people are quick to blame Hasbro for every problem in the fandom. I mean, yes, they do send out those cease and desist letters to and kind of stops people from creating. And like, yeah, I'm not saying that they never do anything that kind of like inflames the fandom, but to blame Hasbro for everything, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's a bit of an excessive reaction to, because I mean, obviously, My Little Pony is their IP and they do have a degree of control over it. But I mean, it's great to see the things that the fandom and people like yourself have created as a part of this community. I mean, like the idea that people can just come together to, discuss their love for the show and the particular facets of it, whether it's the comics, the show, music that's created in it, the conventions. It's great to see people coming together like that. I mean, I know you were recently on an episode of the MBS show with Norman Sanzo, and yes, that is a plug. Norman, you're paying me for that one. But listen, I've mentioned her name enough times in season 1 that, frankly, for season 2, we should be charging him a commission for every time we mention it. But I know you were on the show with him recently, and I went to watch the episodes when you were on, and then realised that I'd forgotten that I was on the same episode as you. I've done so many episodes of them recently, I've just lost track of them all. How did you enjoy being on the MBS show? What was that experience like for yourself?
It was definitely really cool, like getting together with like a group of people to discuss something, because I mean, it's one thing to do a collab with one person, but when you have um like a bunch of other people all having their own viewpoints and their own opinions, it kind of helps you get a clear idea of your own opinion. Because when you listen to what others have to say, there might be something that they bring up that you never considered before. And then you kind of apply that to your own opinion, and that either compels you to change your mind, or it gives you a better understanding of your own uh, stance on the issue.
So would that be something that you'd consider doing in the future, like collaborating more with groups of people on a particular subject?
Oh yeah, I'd be open. I'd definitely be open to doing that. Because I think the different collaboration environments help to not only get to know people better, but better my own content. Because now that I've been exposed to different viewpoints, I can think about things that I never thought before. And that kind of exposure would, in the long run, help my content out more.
So are there particular people you'd like to collaborate with then?
Um, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure like a ton of people want to collaborate with Silver Quill, and we did work together with the with Norman Sanzo in the Slice of Life roundtable review on the MBS show. So he seems like a cool guy to work with. Another person I'd like to collaborate with, I don't know. I mean, I've already collaborated with Toon Critic. Is it fair to say I want to collab with him again?
Yeah, that's fair
Uh,
enough.
oh yeah, Mad Munchkin. I didn't even see. Like, there's so many people out there. Like, some people just slipped my mind. Like Mad Munchkin. Oh yeah, Ty and Dega is we definitely been we've definitely been talking a lot more recently, and it's funny because like we're really close in age, and that's one thing that kind of sets me apart from a lot of the other reviewers, because like a lot of them are in their 20s. Meanwhile, I haven't even hit 20 yet. So I think me and Tandega being young, we kind of we kind of have like a good synergy going with each other.
Mhm. Well, I suppose it helps that you've, because you're in that sort of same age group, same sort of experiences happening at the same time, you've got that sort of bonding experience as well, outside of just My Little Pony. You've got that sort of real life experience as well.
Right, right.
But I'll tell you what, I actually need to wrap up the show here at the end because we're actually running out of time. But I mean, thanks so much for coming on, Sketchy. I mean, how are you doing now? Have you been enjoying this? Was this quite what you're expecting?
Uh, I mean, I wasn't really sure what to expect because, like, again, everyone has their own style. So, like, I just walked in ready for pretty much anything, you know? You never know what's gonna happen. So, it was definitely really fun. I enjoyed talking with you actually, and I'm definitely looking forward to like you said, collaborating with others because it's always a great experience.
Oh, definitely, and it's been great having you on. And we'll certainly have you on again if you ever want to do something again, or if you want to do a collaboration, because we're always looking to do more fun things together. Well, I tell you what, where can we get in contact with you? We actually wanted to, because I know you do artwork commissions and you do odds and ends, and if we wanted to see the stuff you're doing or to, potentially collaborate.
There are a few ways you can contact me. You can contact me sketchychangeling.deviantart.com. You can contact me via Skype. Then YouTube, of course, Sketchy Changeling, and then Sketchy the Changeling at tumblr.com. And I also have a Patreon page just to have people support me and be able to afford new equipment for my videos and whatnot.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put all those links down in the description below, so you'll be able to see all of Sketchy's stuff, and if you want to donate to him on Patreon, commission him, do collaboration with him, or just see some of the awesome videos and artwork he's doing, you'll be able to see all that there. But my thanks to Sketchy for coming on to the show. My thanks to you guys for watching and listening in. I hope you've enjoyed this opener for season 2. I mean, I never mentioned that at the beginning, but mind you, if you've read the title of the show, you will know it's the beginning of season 2, and we have gone through season 1. But if you want to get in contact with us, give us some feedback in this first episode. We do have our Facebook page still at Highland Bronies. We also have our YouTube channel at Highland Bronies, where you're watching this video right now. And of course, there's our email in the About section where you can get in contact with us if you've got any feedback, if you're a content creator who would like to be interviewed in the show, or if, well, since I'm just a pair of lips, if you want to donate me a body, I would greatly appreciate it at this point, because that's the only way I'm going to get worldwide domination. But let's be restrained, we're only on the beginning of Season 2. By the end, we will have taken over the internet. But my thanks to Sketchy for being on the show, my thanks again to you guys for watching, and of course the final word from Midnight Scribe is, as always, please subscribe.